Good morning and welcome to Chiang Mai, Thailand. I've actually been here a little while. Well, if you're a regular viewer, have been wending your way through my Malaysian travels. We've had a little bit of a rain, and so I haven't been getting out terribly much. Been going out for walks, but mostly locally. But I thought I'd just break into my smoky season travels because we have reached episode 26. And in episode 26, it's my custom and practice to do a little bit of reflection on the journey. So, while I finish breakfast, let's have some thoughts on my journey so far. So, if I'm talking about the journey so far, where in fact does the journey begin? It might begin at the beginning of this year, where I started this series, and that's what I normally do. I normally, in my halfway through the year review, just talk about how things are going for the year and weave in a little bit of history to that. But that's not the only place when a journey might begin. It could also begin when I decided to come back to Thailand and live here full time, way back in 2022. Or indeed, it might begin when I decided I'd do my test to see if I could live here rather than come as a tourist. And that was back in 2019. And that's where this channel got its name, 52 weeks. I'd actually set up enough resources to take a year off work on half pay. And I spent 52 weeks living in Thailand, here in Chiang Mai, testing out whether I could live here rather than just visit and do the tourist thing. Or indeed, it might start when I came to the realization that I wanted to live in Thailand, which kind of happened over a period of time. Or indeed, it might start when I first came to Thailand and started my relationship with Thailand. And that was back in 1999. And it seems like a pretty good place to start some reflection this time around on the journey so far. So in 1999, I knew about Thailand just vaguely as a country, but I'd never had any thoughts about visiting. And I'd just started work as an academic. It was in my first or maybe second year as an academic, can't remember, long time ago now. And my head of department, Ray, waved a little piece of paper under my nose one day when I was visiting his office. And he said, "This study tour looks interesting. I think you'd get a lot out of it." And it was a study tour with a local theatre company. And I applied to go on the study tour and got accepted. And was fortunate enough to travel around with that theatre company and see the work that they were doing in and around Thailand. We spent a bit of time in Bangkok, and then we separated into smaller groups, and the group I was in went to Ayutthaya and went and had a look at some of the work they were doing in a little village outside Ayutthaya, which was working with a bunch of kids who were doing theatre, and they were actually making theatre on AIDS awareness, which was pretty impressive. And then we came up to Chiang Mai and spent a bit of time kind of looking at the methods they had of creating work and what they were doing and why they were doing it. But the really good thing about that trip was that I got to go around and not necessarily visit the highlight tourist areas, although we did a little bit of that, but mostly we were travelling around and meeting kind of Thais and local communities and stuff like that. And yeah, I kind of found that really interesting, found the Thai people fascinating, and the country really beautiful. So then I went back to Australia and continued my work, and I didn't have any particular plans to get back, but the opportunity presented itself to come back, and a couple of years after that, and to see the company and the work that they were doing again for a couple of days. And I also toured around a bit. And then another opportunity a few years later to come back and do a study tour reunion, where people from study tours over a number of years came back and got together in the company's new headquarters in Chengdu, which they'd only purchased the land for when I came here in 1999. And then following that, I became a regular visitor to Thailand, travelling around a little bit, but mainly coming to here in Chiang Mai. And somewhere along that journey, I discovered that I really might be able to live here. And I started thinking about that and planning for that. Once I got enough resources together, I did the test year, and the year before that I did a trip to Thailand just as a normal 1 month holiday, and checked out a few places just to make sure that Chiang Mai was the place I wanted to be, and it was. So in 2019 I decided that I would come here and I would test out whether I could be here for a whole year living here rather than holing up in a motel for 3 or 4 weeks and having a good time. So I did, and the answer to that experiment was yes, I could live in Thailand, and I decided I was going to live in Thailand, but towards the end of that time here, just early 2020, COVID hit, and I had to go back home to sort out my work and all that sort of stuff. But when I got back to Australia, all of the borders closed down, and I was in Australia for a couple of years, and I got to build up my resources a bit further, because I thought as long as I was in Australia, I might as well keep working. And then in 2022, I made the big decision, quit work, and moved here to Thailand. Which brings us to this year. It's been a good year so far, a year of travel, and a few challenges. Of course, even though I live a modest lifestyle, this costs money. So the question is, how do I pay for it all? Well, I was lucky. It's a combination of luck and seizing the luck. So in Australia, in my working life, the Australian superannuation scheme was established, and that's a scheme where you put money aside with every pay as an investment for your retirement. So that was the first bit of luck that started for me. Otherwise, I would have had to wait until the pension kicked in. and I'm not even there yet. And the second bit of luck was I had a couple of jobs that paid in really well to that scheme. So I was able to amass the resources to retire early and live my life here. So I've set it up so that I'm getting a regular income from that investment, and that's transferred into a bank account in Australia, and I transfer it here. There have been a couple of stresses over the time. So you may recall, if you've been following me, that earlier this year when I arrived in Malaysia, 2 of my credit cards stopped working simultaneously. And so that was quite annoying. So I've set up the system so there's triple redundancy. So fortunately I still had one way of paying for my accommodation in Malaysia, and I was able to sort out one of the problems with my credit card really quickly. It's just a matter of resetting the PIN on it. The other one was a very big problem, and it got cancelled, and they couldn't replace it for me. So I had a lot of stress kind of working my way through that, and I've only just recently got over it. But as I say, I had some triple redundancies. That problem did show me that there were a couple of flaws in my system to guarantee that I got money over here. But I was able to work my way through it, and I've sorted it out for the rest of the year. And now I'm just in the process of solving those small problems. So that was a really big frustration, and that was one of my home banks in Australia. That was problematic. They were just not being helpful at all. You know, they would say, "Oh, we'll respond to you in 30 days," and that was, you know, not really helpful when you're overseas and need to pay the rent. But you know, as I say, I had some redundancies built in so that I could manage. The other problem that has come up is that towards the end of 2023, the Thai government announced that it was going to be taxing money that came into the country. Previously, their policy was to only tax money that had been earned in that calendar year as it was brought in. If it was earned in another calendar year, they didn't tax it. But they decided that they were going to tax all incoming money. And of course, the expat community over here went berserk and it was all doom and gloom. I decided that I would just take a wait and see attitude. So before that kicked in on the 1st of January 2024, I brought over the amount of money I needed to live all throughout 2024 and just wait and see what would happen. So that was okay. That all worked quite well. I was anticipating that by the end of the year it will all have sorted itself out and it would be clear what I needed to do, and you know, and it's not paying tax that bothers me so much. It's just the uncertainty of it and what I need to do and how I need to do it, and you know, and planning for that extra tax and so on and so forth. So in 2023 I wasn't liable, 2024 I wasn't liable for tax because I brought the money in the year before. And when I got to the end of 2024, it was still not any clearer about what the situation was. So I decided that for 2025, I would spend less than 180 days here in Thailand, which takes me out of being a resident for tax purposes. So I've been doing a little bit of travel overseas, as you might see, and I've got more travel planned, and I'm also going to start thinking about, you know, other places I might live if I need to. So I did a trip to Malaysia. That was just a holiday trip, but I discovered I could get a 90-day visa there just by walking up and having the appropriate passport and paperwork, and then I could spend 90 days there if I wanted to. So that's an option. That's a quarter of a year in Malaysia if I need to. And I'm also going to spend a bit of time kind of working out what I need to get a long-term visa for Cambodia, and maybe spend a bit of extended time there this year just to test out whether I can live there, as I did before I moved to Thailand. Just do the test before I make any decision to move over. So okay, although there's been some kind of problems arising out of international finances and that sort of stuff, it has provided me with some learning experiences about how to set things up better so that my money is more easily accessible, and I've got kind of a buffer here in Thailand if I need it. So that's good, and it's also making me think about, you know, how I could live in other places. So that's good as well. I don't plan to go and live somewhere else immediately. I'm still enjoying Thailand. The stresses are not such that I feel like I need to move. And in fact, one of the stresses, the main one, was caused by the financial systems back in Australia, not here in Thailand. So yeah, I plan to do a bit more travel, see a bit more of the place. Traveling in Southeast Asia is really easy when you live in Thailand, or probably anywhere in Southeast Asia. So it's a good opportunity for me to travel and see a bit more of the world. I'm living the simple life here in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Living in a place is actually quite different than visiting as a tourist. You don't feel like you have to get out and make the best use of your time every day and spend every waking moment seeing and doing things. It's, for me, a much more relaxed lifestyle. I have a small studio apartment, which some people would find really frustrating, I guess, but for me, I don't need a lot of space. I can do what I need. I can sleep, I can eat, read a book, and to be truthful, I don't spend that much time in the apartment itself. I'm quite often out having a walk, or you know, going on one of life's missions, like paying a bill or something. But the apartment has what I need. It has a great view, nice balcony with a view of the river, where I spend my mornings sipping tea and eating my breakfast. And it has simple cooking facilities, so it has a hot plate and, you know, rice cooker and things like that. I can add things to it if I want to, but mostly I don't cook at home. You know, I can cook if I want to, because I have some things there, but mostly I'm eating out. And my neighborhood has lots of places to eat, so that's one of those good things about living in Thailand. Always plenty of good food available if you need it. And as I say, I'm more often than not out and about, having a wander, checking out local neighborhoods, or, you know, there might be something I want to check out, or maybe I want to have a cup of tea by the river, or in a air-conditioned coffee house somewhere, or something like that. So there's always plenty to do. And if I, you know, want to go out and see a band, I can. And, you know, I go out and have a drink and play pool every week. It's, for me, a good lifestyle. Maybe not for some, but for me it's great. And it's not like I don't have resources and I'm kind of trapped. As you've seen, I can do some travel, I can get out and about, I can do anything I want to. I don't feel like I'm being shut in and deprived of life's experiences. It's a good, simple life.
ร่วมกันถวายจะเป็นปัจจัยในเดินทางนะครับรวมถึงท่านทหารเพลพระพุทธเจ้าทุกรูปนะครับก็ขอบอกเรียนไปยังคณะจัดงานพี่น้องคนไทย
And so, what about the future? So this year, I have a little more travelling to do. I have a trip planned with Ray in a couple of weeks, in fact. So that should be good. And other travelling to do. I do plan to get to Cambodia to check out what the long-term visa situation is like there and how easy it is, and also maybe do a bit of an extended trip there to see if I can live there rather than just be a tourist there. So that's in the immediate future. I don't have any plans of moving out of Thailand at this stage. It's just a backup plan in case I need to spend an extended period of time outside of Thailand. But my plan for the foreseeable future is to continue living here in Thailand. I'm actually really enjoying it. It's quite a good lifestyle for me. Relaxed, certainly here in Chiang Mai. Bangkok's a bit more frenetic, and down south on the beaches is kind of more of a expat atmosphere. But here in Chiang Mai, I can escape a little bit. I can go to the expat areas if I want, and the tourist areas. But there's also plenty of local areas for me to head into and just savour the local atmosphere. So yeah, my plan is to stay here in Chiang Mai. I will be continuing to do YouTube videos. This is a hobby for me, so it's one of the things that just keeps me busy. Not busy in the sense that I have to be somewhere and have to do that, but it's a good discipline to have a video out every week. And so doing the filming and the editing, I can't lay claim to thinking about them too much beforehand. But filming and editing I do, and uploading and getting it out for the week. So that's my hobby, that's what I do. It is really nice to have a group of people who are interested enough to subscribe, and at the time of filming this I've just hit 600 subscribers. So after another 6 years I should be an overnight sensation. Yeah, so I plan to do that, and I do have those contacts with people. It's nice to, as I say, it's nice to have some people who are interested enough to subscribe to my channel and to follow along on my ventures, and every now and then drop a message to say hi. So that's nice, that's pleasant. It's a good contact with other human beings. So for those of you who are in that category, thank you. I appreciate your company, and I also appreciate people who just kind of drop in for subjects they think they might be interested in. So if you're one of those, welcome. Nice to see you. So yeah, I think at this stage my life will go on pretty much as I have over the last few years. I'll be living a fairly relaxed life here in Chiang Mai, and just pottering about, having a look at things. Still plenty of things to look at in Chiang Mai that I haven't seen, and places I like to go back to regularly. So yeah, I think I will be keeping on with my lifestyle as it is. Well, there are my thoughts on my life here in Thailand so far. I'm still enjoying the journey. So yeah, that's it for me today. I'm going to go out for a walk today. It's a bit of a sunshiny day. So next week we're back to my burning season travels. There's a couple of episodes left from that journey. So next week I will be in Singapore. So I will catch you then. Cheers. Thanks for watching my video. I really appreciate the company. If you made it all the way to the end here but aren't a subscriber, you might like to consider subscribing by clicking here. Or if you'd just like to see something else that I've made, click here for something I think you'd like. And if you're feeling like a real binge, click here and it will take you to one of my playlists. Hope to see you on the journey again soon.